back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I did a video. I've been kind of lacking when it comes to my YouTube channel, but I've got a good reason. I've been very busy with freelance jobs, and unfortunately, when I get to working and getting paid, doing these paid jobs, I don't get in the studio here and I don't do YouTube videos like I should. So I apologize if you've been waiting for a video, and if you've been waiting for a video, you're my favorite person in the world. But we're going to do one today because my freelance job that I've been doing up in North Carolina, we ended up not working today. So I thought I better take advantage. And I've got a great video to do today. I've been wanting to do it for a little over a week now. Because I got a new piece of equipment. I got probably what I'm going to consider the greatest product lens you can buy. And I'm a Fuji shooter. It's a Fuji 80mm macro. Canon makes one, Nikon makes one. They all make a, kind of that 100mm range macro lens, which is phenomenal for product photography. So we're going to put this thing to the test today. I've used it on this channel before because I rented it last summer and did some fun things with it, but now I own it. Probably going to be one of my workhorse lenses when it comes to product photography, as well as probably portrait, headshot type stuff. Macro lenses are just crazy sharp and they're just phenomenal. This one's got image stabilization, so it's going to be good for that when it comes to hand holding for people stuff. Today we're going to do it in the studio for some product stuff, and we happen to have a good friend who does some jewelry. She was gracious enough to give us some jewelry to shoot. I think that's going to be the perfect product to test this lens out here in the studio. And I've got a couple different backgrounds that I've come up with. Hopefully we can come up with something neat for all these different things. But the other thing that I've been slacking on a little bit is keeping the studio neat and tidy. It's a mess at the moment. Schlepping gear in and out from my car, going on location, it just gets dropped. So we got to clean up a little bit, get things organized, and get this whole thing set up. But we're going to have some fun. You guys know I love to be in the studio. It's one of my favorite places to be. I love creating here, so let's get at it with the new Fuji 80mm macro lens. Got it set to flash. Change the ISO to 160, which is where I'm at. We're going to leave the shutter speed at 1/25 of a second. And let's see what kind of aperture we're going to pull with this thing. Okay, so my initial exposure was 2.8.5, almost 4. Let's see where we're at as far as power. I've got my Godox 80-100 in there, which absolutely love that light. It is not super powerful. I'm only at quarter power. So I'm going to put it up to, let's go half power. That should put us in the 5.6 range. That may not be enough for product photography when it comes to being in tight like that, but let's just see where we're at. May bump the ISO up to 400 if I need to, because I'd probably like to be in the f11 range. Like I said, I love my Godox 80-100, but it's not a super powerful light. When it comes to people stuff, portrait stuff, it's fantastic, even in a softbox. The other thing I've got going on here, I've got the scrim, and then I've got the grid on the softbox. I could take that off too. We'll have to see what the quality of the light looks like. So there's several things that I can do to get the exposure the way I need it. I need to be in that f11 range to probably hold the depth of field, because the macro lens in tight's not going to give me a lot of depth of field. But yeah, I'm going to tweak that a little bit, get it to where it's about f11, and we'll take the first shot. Okay, so I bumped the ISO to 400, turned the power up another third of a stop, and I'm at f11. pretty good initial exposure for only one light. We're gonna add some fill cards. I'm probably gonna add a second light that's kind of shooting through and giving a little bit of direction. That'll give it a little bit of punch. The fill cards will be great. Tricky part will be laying them out so that they look attractive. I've got wood, I've got some marble backgrounds, I've got some baseboards with some lines in it to do some different things as far as the background is concerned. A little bit about a macro lens. I don't know if you guys know it. Macro lenses are designed to be sharp corner to corner. That's one of their claims to fame. So you can shoot flat surfaces and not lose that softness that a lot of lenses will give you on the corners. So sharp corner to corner, amazingly sharp lenses. I just think they're great. One of the things I like about an 80 millimeter on my Fuji APS-C size sensor, it would be similar to a 120 millimeter on a full frame. But one of the things I like about it, it's long enough that it backs you off a little bit, that you're not so close to the subject that you can't put in fill cards and get in there and work. If you're photographing people, you're not so close that you're like right in their face. The focal length is just nice in terms of giving you a little bit of distance between you and your subject. And it's just nice. It is a little bit bigger of a lens if you notice it compared to the XT4. It's got a little bit of heft to it. But not crazy heavy. It's nice. It's very workable and doable. Like I said, I think it's going to become one of my workhorses when it comes to much of the work that I do. And this is perfect. This is the perfect scenario to put it through its paces. I'm going to arrange the jewelry in hopefully an attractive manner. And like I said, tweak the lighting a little bit, get some fill cards in there, and start making some beautiful photographs. So I've added one of my V1s over here with a barn door on it. The fill card, obviously. This shot is not set up to where it's like compositionally great. But as far as testing the light, I think the jewelry looks really good. Looks clean, crisp. So I think lighting wise, we're in pretty good shape. 2 lights, fill card. Each piece of jewelry might have its own little nuances that will do some different things, but I think we're in pretty good shape here. F11, like I said, 400 ISO. I did change the ISO. Nice thing about these mirrorless cameras, no noise issues going to 400. Totally fine with being at 400 ISO. I'd probably go higher if I needed to. One drawback to the Godox AD100 as well as the V1s, they do have modeling lights, but I don't like to turn them on any more than I need to, just because I'm going to wear the battery out and I'm going to work the light a whole lot more. But as far as seeing what they're doing on a regular basis, they don't have the built-in modeling light that can just be on all the time like a studio light would be. So that's a bit of a drawback, but definitely an easy workaround because there is a modeling light that will kind of give you a hint as to what they're doing. Okay, so I'm going to lay out good composition, get them looking pretty, and start taking some final images. Okay, so I'm on the last shot that I'm going to do, and it is these tiny little earrings. And I purposely left those to the end because I want to push this lens as far as it'll go in terms of really getting down in tight. I might even have to take the lens hood off because the lens hood is probably going to get in the way of getting in that tight. But let's push this lens as far as it'll go in terms of macro photography and getting in tight. Okay, I am manually focusing everything because when it comes to product photography, it's just so much better to just manually focus. That way it's not jumping around on you. Boy, that's probably 1:1. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure this lens goes 1:1, but I'm probably about there. Boy, don't move the camera very much to completely change the composition. I am going to put this on a 2-second timer so that I can get out of the shot. Because you can actually see a reflection of me in the earrings if I'm hovering over the top of it. Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do a couple other little close-ups of some of these earrings just because I now can. I think it looks great. Okay, so I'll start showing these photographs right here. All right, awesome. Cool shoot. All right, everybody, there you go. It's a wrap. I think it was a pretty successful photo shoot. I wish I had a little bit more time because even though I've got a day to kind of give to this photo shoot, I'm still running like crazy and I got 100 different things going on here at the house. But I like the results. You know, let me know what you think. I think the lighting turned out pretty good. I didn't really talk about this when it comes to product photography. It's always about the reflections that you're putting in it. And with jewelry, that's especially true because it's all a bunch of shiny metal, reflects everything. So creating good reflections in the surface is the key. Now, as far as the 80mm macro for the Fuji, absolutely love this lens. It's been on my list to get for quite some time. Probably since I went into Fuji, got into the Fuji system, this has been on my list. Big fan of lens shades. So the lens shade will probably be on my front of this lens most of the time for me. For what it's worth, f2.8, for those of you who want that really shallow depth of field, you're gonna get it with a macro lens when you get in tight anyway. But for those of you who want the f2.8 when it comes to portraits or whatever, you're definitely gonna be able to have the shallow depth of field with that aperture. It does run up all the way to 22 if you need that for whatever reason. So the stabilization in the lens seems to be great when you're hand holding. I have not seemed to have any real problem with focus as far as that is concerned. So that's a nice thing. You can hear it working as it's doing its thing. First couple of times I ever heard that, I thought it seemed a little weird, but you certainly get used to it and rely on what it's doing. So big thumbs up to the Fuji 80mm. Like I said before, if you are a product photographer, a macro lens is a must. Every YouTuber's got their opinions, so you certainly can do product photography with other lenses. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, for what it's worth, a macro lens is a must. So let me know what you thought about those photographs. If you got comments, questions, complaints, as always, I love to hear from you guys. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you would. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.